Let me tell y'all what really holds marriages together. Women just putting up with shit.
Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? Together Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So today's video is a video of a sister who came online to talk about how she used to feel like, you know what, it's love that keeps a marriage. And now over the years, and has seen how marriages and how relationship is playing out, and has even seen relationship in her family and all that, she has come to realize that most marriages that has done 20, 30 years, most marriages is the woman that hold up that relationship together. I find this conversation very, very interesting. So let's go hear what she has to say, then we'll come back and talk.
You either gonna have standards or you gonna have a man, but you ain't gonna have both.
When I was younger, and I used to see people in my family, or just people in general, have these 20, 30, 40-year marriages, right? When I was younger, I used to be like, wow, I want something like that. Like, I want to be so in love with somebody that I'm with them for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and we die together. I used to think that what held marriages together for that long was true love. And of course, communication, understanding, sacrifice, all those things. Let me tell y'all what really holds marriages together. Women just putting up with shit. That's all it is. When you understand that all it takes to keep a man is for you to constantly be forgiving bullshit and constantly be like, oh, okay, I don't want to lose him, so I'm gonna forgive this, I'm gonna forgive that. That's all a long marriage is just the woman constantly putting up with shit. That's all it is. You not leaving him because he did this, and that's all a long-term marriage is. And that's why when these dumb men be in my comments talking about, you're going to be single forever, you're going to die alone, you're going to die with your cats, I'll be like, good for me, good for me. If the alternative is having to put up with you, good for me. Like, keeping a man is not an achievement. Keeping a man low-key be sometimes a failure for a lot of y'all. I'm just saying it.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. This video has gotten a whole lot of people talking. So this video, I'm going to share it to two parts. This first part will be women responding to this statement, saying it's a woman that keeps a relationship or marriage together, and that's by the woman taking a whole lot of BS and just over forgiving in the relationship, in the marriage. That's why we have long-lasting marriages. So let's go hear what women think about this statement, then I'll come back and share my own thoughts. I'm going to put the men's reaction in the next video so you can check that out. But yeah, let's go hear women's thoughts on this, and then we'll come back and talk.
It holds marriages together. Women just putting up with shit.
I understand her perspective, but that is not true. There are some good marriages out here where the husband is not cheating, beating, doing stupid stuff. What it is just people in good marriages just stay silent. They just stay quiet. They keep their relationship business to themselves. They're traveling, they're visiting other countries and just going on about their little happy life. I hate that young women view is only so negative because of their circle. Baby girl, get out, get a bigger circle, because there are thousands of marriages where they're not going through stupid stuff like this. That is, when you sit there and say that the only way a woman can be married for 20 and 30 years is they have to put up with just anything, you're looking at the wrong examples, honey. I've been married for 25 years. I ain't putting up with cheating. I ain't putting up with beating. My husband ain't never took me through no mess like that. And I thank God for that. But I know that's not everybody's experience. But I know a lot of people who was in good relationships that have been married just as long as I have. And they ain't going through no crap like that either. You know, so I'm telling you, I'm an advocate for marriage. I'm an advocate for team finding your one, because there's one out there. Just how you feel right now about marriage, there's a guy out there that feels the same way. that feels like, oh man, I'll never get married because marriage is bogus. Marriage is what you make it. And when you really want to know whether a marriage is going to be good or not, is in the dating season. If he's bogus and stupid in dating, he's going to be a bogus husband. What you see a lot of times is people just feeling a sexual connection with somebody and they get married, thinking that, oh God, we're sexually connected and the sex is great, so therefore we have a good marriage. If we could just take people back to the foundation or understanding of what qualifications for a spouse is, sex will not be as high on everybody's list as they think it is. Because your relationship needs way more than just sex. It needs way more than just love. I hate to say that, but it does. It is a full commitment, and not to be committed to be drugged through the mud and been embarrassed and made a fool of. That's not marriage. That's torture. I'm not being tortured. Now, I mean, you don't have to be tortured either. But don't have this such a negative view about marriage. These people out here really tripping. There is some good marriages. There are some good marriages. It's just when you got a good thing, you just keep your business and your mouth shut and you go live your life. That's what you do. But everybody ain't walking around here. You gotta just struggling like that. Marriage is not torture. It's not a prison sentence. It is beautiful. It is a wonderful experience, especially when you're connected with someone who is mature and loves you and willing to grow with you. Oh, gosh, it's beautiful. Gosh, y'all just, that negative view, and gosh, and the ones that are talking, y'all are babies. Y'all are babies. Y'all, shoot, just live your life. You are still young. But man, okay, I need some of these good married folks that's got good marriages to stand up and say something, to let them know there is hope. I'm not putting up with crap. I'm happily married, but I don't put up with crap. My husband don't put up with crap. We don't take each other through that because we love each other. So, I mean, we do more than just love each other. We're fully committed to each other. He's my person, I'm his person. There are people out there. So I think you young ladies that kind of want to get married, stop listening to these other young ladies. But also, too, you create your own experience. You create your own reality. And if you go into any relationship thinking that I just got to bear whatever he do to keep him, that mindset needs to be checked. You got to mature in your mindset before you ever think about saying I do.
Women just putting up. That's all it is.
If you haven't watched this video, you need to go back and watch this. Now, personally, in my own family, I don't have many that have stayed married this long, but I've seen it externally. I've seen it in my ex-boyfriend's family, etc. And I'm just like, wow, that's so amazing. But when you really dig deeper, you realize that it's the women that have put up with a lot of And I'm going to take it up the notch just a little bit further. Most of the men don't really start acting right until their friend stops working or functioning how it used to, or their image has changed and they no longer perceive themselves to be as attractive as they were when they were younger. And I'm sorry to say, but that is not a prize to me. And the funny thing is that most cultures, like Kevin Samuels would talk junk about black women, right? And how other cultures are taught to be more submissive, etc. Those are the ones who have to experience or deal with a lot of these guys' crap just to stay married and to keep the family together. When in all reality, a lot of those women have been miserable for years, sacrificing their joy, their happiness for this relationship. And I'm sorry, but most black women are not going to put up. Yes, be forgiving. Yes, communication is necessary. Yes, we all require work. But my job is not to raise a man into a man.
Let me tell y'all what really holds marriages together.
And men, women and men wanting to be in a relationship. That's what makes a marriage works. Commitment. You have to want it every day. And that's not to discredit what she's saying, because, you know, your experience is different. But from what I've seen from my folks, they wanted it. My mama didn't settle. My daddy didn't settle. They did it together, and they got through it together till death do they part. They died together. As a matter of fact, they died this year together. You can have standards, and your man can have standards, and y'all could have y'all standards together and do it together. Both parties have to want to be in a relationship. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Commitment and compromising is what makes a relationship work.
I used to think that what held marriages together for that long was true love.
Unconditional love, which is the ultimate love. I know that is so hard to fathom in our human people brains. It doesn't exist. I get it. Okay? I get it. But what else could permit somebody to forgive, to hold compassion, to love somebody time after time after time of messing up, of being human, okay? I hate how y'all be trying to act like the men do, women don't also do. Y'all literally brag about getting away with cheating. We literally brag about how dumb men are because they always get caught because they're so stupid. Because it's really not that hard to cheat and not get caught. Y'all undocumented because we get the full scope of things. Men are very one-dimensional. They're simple, okay? They say that all the time. If you're somebody that thinks a long-lasting marriage is the woman putting up with the man's somewhere in there, I don't know, it just feels like there's an implication that women are perfect and like men don't put up with women's. It just, that's what it feels like. Marriage teaches you to love unconditionally, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. No matter what, I am your person. It's in the vows. It's in the vows. Why do you think marriage is so sacred and is a covenant between the couple and God? It is the only type of relationship that reflects the love that God has for us. Imagine being a parent of an addict and watching your child snort lines one after the other off of your washing machine. A good parent is not going to love their child any less. A good parent is not going to abandon their child. You know, even the parents that choose to disassociate from their child, they still hold love for them. The door is still open for that child to enter when they get their life together. God holds that same door open. When you stray too far away from him and you find yourself in hell and you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, God guides you back to him. He leaves the door open. He's right here waiting for you. Where you been at? You'll never experience that outside of a marriage. And a lot of y'all not married, so I don't expect y'all to keeping a man isn't an achievement. No, why would that? Why? Keeping a woman isn't an achievement either. Maintaining a healthy, successful, functional marriage, whether it's 20, 30, 40 plus years, that's a flex. Because it's something that a lot of us are not capable of. You don't see that anymore. It's actually more like a 7-year limit before you call it quit. Marriage isn't supposed to be this fairy tale true love relationship. You're going to You're going to be tempted. You're going to have misjudgments. You're going to make mistakes. Having a person that holds enough space for you to make those mistakes, not all mistakes. I ain't saying you gonna get away with everything now. Having a person abundant enough that can be that understanding, that's a flex. I don't give a hey, okay. And with the whole, like, you're gonna be alone with your cats, and yeah, it's a little hard, but if you think that you're gonna convince me that you would be happy being the old, wrinkly, saggy, angry, bitter cat lady, you're just as delusional as I thought you were. Especially being a woman and having an ability to create life. Oh yeah, be mad. You're gonna be real mad when you talk to that cat, that feline, and it don't talk back. That's gonna do something to you. You can tell the people who are content in their lives, whether they're married, single, kidless. You can tell content people apart from people who are just jaded because love is too hard and too conditional and woe is me. You go into a marriage expecting your partner to not make mistakes, to not piss you off, to not disappoint you. If you just expect things to be cool, calm, and collected all the time, you're gonna be divorced. Yeah, that's what it's looking like. You're gonna be straight up divorced.
Y'all what really holds marriages together? Women just putting up with shit.
I wanted to continue this conversation. Go back and watch her video and see what you think. I may have agreed with her sometime back, probably, after my divorce. I would have thought, that's basically what it is. Women, we take the whole hit. We have to be the caretaker, the babysitter, the cook, the cleaner, take care of your husband, work a whole job, put up with bullshit, behavior, narcissistic, things like that. But I think that, and I say this respectfully, I think that a lot of people who agree with that are in relationships that are toxic, and because the institution of marriage, they refuse to get themselves out of it. Because that was a thought process for me, I will say. And if you've ever been in a divorce, it feels like a death in the family, because I've read some report that says that it feels like you've lost a person, you lost a family member, and that makes perfect sense in my opinion, from my experience. However, going back to the topic, you feeling that marriage is the only reason marriage lasts 30, 40, 50 years is because women are putting up with bullshit. I think that only applies to people who are in toxic relationships, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are not doing the necessary work within to be in a healthy relationship, because they don't even know what the hell that is. And again, I'm speaking from my own personal experience. I have been there. And if you don't do the inner work and you don't see the patterns that you're repeating over and over again within your relationships, then unfortunately, you're going to be in that kind of a situation. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to be married for 30 years, but you're miserable because the person that you're with is not your ideal partner. So I have not yet remarried, but I do have high hopes for it at some future point. I will definitely be doing things a lot different, and looking for things differently. Obviously, I had grown and matured and, healed a lot of things and I'm still healing. It's a continuous thing, but I've acknowledged the things that I needed to work on. And I feel like if you don't find a partner who's also on that path, then unfortunately you will continue to have toxic relationships that are, just looks. You look great on social media, but in reality, you guys are killing each other in the back. So I just wanted to state my opinion on this. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like I said, I really still believe I really truly still believe that you can have a good relationship, a healthy relationship with someone, be happily married for years. It may take you some work to get there. Some people are lucky and they find that person when they're very young and everything works out, and that's amazing. You grow together. But if you don't have that, you might stumble a couple of frags like myself. You know what I'm saying? But listen, we're not talking about me. We're just talking about in general, like women in general. Because I know from just talking to women, the dating scene is a whole piece of shit, like straight up. And it's rough out here, okay? You gotta really, I don't know what is going on, but if you're doing the work, you will be able to identify the people who do not align with you and just push that off. You don't need to give everybody attention. So that's my 2 cents.
Of course, communication, understanding, sacrifice, all those things.
The funniest thing is, these young ladies are all single. They are all people that think that they know how to endure and handle something, but when they are put to the ultimate test, which is, can you share your life with someone else? Can you learn how to be self-sacrificial? Can you put someone else first? Have you recognized that marriage is ministry? Have you recognized that in ministry you're going to deal with all kinds of spirits? And have you recognized that marriage was ordained and orchestrated first by God? If you haven't grasped these simple, fundamental things, you shouldn't even be speaking on marriage. And then the funniest thing is, I look in the comments and I see so many women talking about how they were in 16-year, 20-year prisons. But guess what? If your institution of marriage had become a prison, that says a lot about you and the partner that you picked. I then went through the comments and seen other couples saying that their husband is their best friend and that they're really thankful for their spouse, and they're seeing all these horror stories and all these horrible comments, and they are so sad for these other women. That says a lot about your picking style. Ladies, you chose to prioritize the things that were important to you in marriage, and therefore the person that you picked and that picked you two have an understanding of who you will be for one another. Many people don't do that. Many people aren't transparent. Many people don't put themselves out there as vulnerable. And many people hide themselves until married and then expect the person to receive them after they've already deceived them. That is insane. And unfortunately, many young people today do not grasp the concept that marriage is going to pull all of your insecurities to the forefront. And those are things that you've been paired with this partner, this person to actually learn how to overcome. Marriage is about conquering things. When you go to your employer, you're going to have team building exercises if you work at a company that cares about you guys being a team and working unified. And those team building exercises usually consist of a problem that's presented to you. And as a team, you guys are required to resolve it. That's what marriage is. It's overcoming. It's conflict resolution. It is binding together, seeing purpose, seeing the future, and allowing the ministry of God to be the third cord within that two strands, creating a cord that is not easily broken. If you don't have God in the marriage, you failed. If you don't recognize that marriage is about overcoming, you failed. If you don't recognize that marriage is about learning to put someone else before yourself, even when you don't want to, you failed. If you don't recognize that marriage is about pulling out the things that are ugly about you and bringing them to the forefront so you have the ability to address them and better yourself, you failed. Marriage is not for the weak. And sadly, most of today's people are weak as heck. You can't stand through anything. You bow before everything. And if it's not instantly done, like you put everything in the microwave, then you think it's not worth it. I am so glad I was raised by my grandmother so that I knew that you have to put the work in. So that I was taught that you have to stand on principle and morality, even if that means you stand by yourself. And I was also raised biblically, so I recognize that we're living in a time now where all of the things that were once considered right, because we were actually within right standing before God, are now going to be deemed as wrong. And the things that are wrong are going to be said to be right. It's scripture, look it up. And that says a lot about the people. You've gotten so far away from God that you can't even see the God in things. But I'm gonna mind my business over here with my husband that I'm doing life with.
Really holds marriages together. Women just putting up.
My goose says you just hit the nail right on that dot. This is the conversation they're not ready for. They're not ready to hear this conversation. I've always been saying this. You see how nowadays they always say, oh, marriage don't last like they used to. Because women, our eyes are opening and we're tired of putting up with men bullshit. This is the reason why I have conflict with the phrase for better or for worse. That phrase don't say well with me. And whoever put that phrase in the marriage or on paper or whatever, we need to have a talk, because I need a clear explanation for that better or for worse. Because when it comes to the other part of it, I'm not taking it.
my definition for better or for worse is different for somebody else. So like if we are there, I can forgive you, but how many forgiveness can you give a person? Because then you go to struggle love. Yep. I seen a video where this lady said we would still be together even though you did all like the infidelity to me when we were when in this marriage, but I'm gonna do the same thing you did to me. And then I'm like, my gooses, there's no point for all that. Just walk away. Some people, I had an argument at my workplace with this lady. She's way older and got experience. She said, but when you build something with someone, it's hard for you to, and then later said, oh, I did this and this and this to my husband, and he did the same to me. So I was like, who started it first? Y'all established this. We will have an open after you did what you did. I can't do that. We got 20 kids together. We got 50 houses together. Bye-bye. And it's fine to be single, y'all. It's fine to live a good single life. There's nothing wrong with it than for you to be married and be in this chokehold of a marriage that you were stuck in. There's nothing in this world you need to be stuck in. You don't have to be there and say, oh, I'm there because I'm 20 years into it. Yep. Like back then, I think one of the reasons why our grandmother stayed, because they had nowhere to go. Some of them were probably like not on the level as like education wise to leave. I mean, I'm speaking from like example, my grandma, she stayed. And she, you know, when people say we've been through a lot type of thing, I don't want to, that a lot type of thing. My definition should be different. I don't want it to be, he had 20 babies on me. Then I stay and I'm proud to be with him for 50 years. But they're not ready for that one.
Please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But please keep it respectful. Here on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way, okay? So go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Wow. I have a lot to say about this conversation. And some of you guys don't know, I've been married for 10 years and I've been with my husband for 20 years. So I feel like I can say a good piece of it, and I'm almost 40. So I feel like I can say a good piece, because some people are saying that people talking like these are single women and all that. But let's have this conversation, because I know some people are not ready for this. I'm going to post a part 2 of this conversation for men reacting to this. So this is the women's one. So I'm just going to air more of my opinion here and just do little the other one. But here's my own strong thought. So check out the next video for the men's response to this video. So for me personally, I feel like, yes, I totally agree with what the original creator said, that, you know what, it takes a woman, most especially from the society. Okay, so that's another thing. The society where I live in, it takes more from the woman to keep such long-term relationship and marriage on. So, oh, I've been married for 30 and 50 years. Most of the work falls on the woman, especially our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunties. Most of those relationship falls on them, because they are looked upon to keep the marriage. Like in my society, if something is going wrong in the marriage, and they have like a family meeting to discuss the issue, the entire blame goes on the woman. The family blames the woman, even if it's the man doing all the dirty things, all the abusive things, all the things breaking down the marriage. A whole lot of the criticism and encouragement goes to the woman, because they're going to tell her, oh, it's a woman that builds our home. Yes, it's a thing here. It's a woman that builds our home. You don't want to leave him, or if you leave him, another woman is going to come and take your place and know that for all your own hard work. And I feel like the society I grow in, some of you guys don't know, I live in Nigeria. So I am in Nigeria, living in Nigeria. I was born and raised here. So I've seen this firsthand in my society. So I feel like I can say about this. And even how my friends, me, I'm in marriage, so I know what I'm talking about. So a whole lot of the things comes down to you, the woman. So marriage always ends when the woman says, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And then you see like the marriage will end. But just as the woman is ready to take a whole lot of those BS in that marriage, it will the marriage will still be there for years. That's not to say that people don't have happy marriages, but the society I live in, it takes more work for the women too. And then another thing, most women stay in those marriages, those relationships that don't serve them, or that they are miserable inside, because they have nowhere to go, because they are not financially there, mentally there. Because naturally, the way our society raised us girls is for us to depend on men. If not our father, then it should be our husband. We're naturally raised to grow up, leave our father's house to our husband's house. We are not allowed to be alone. So that thought process for a whole lot of women in my society to pick up and leave, it is really hard. They rather be in that abusive marriage, answer that man's name, rather than to walk away and live a happy life. They rather be miserable but be married. But I also agree with the sister that was talking that if you're in a miserable marriage, that says a lot about you and your judgment. I kind of agree with that, because, and this is why we're having this type of conversation here on this channel, where we're telling women to consciously and intentionally pick who they choose to do life with, because that would determine the factor of how your life is going to be. If you're going to be living happily, or if you're going to live miserably. So be very intentional, be very, very cautious before you say, okay, you know what, I want to do life with somebody. That's not to say that when it comes to marriage, I feel like both parties, at least I'm talking about my marriage now, both parties are throwing a whole lot of, I'm not saying there's going to be challenges, both parties are putting up with a whole lot on both ends, but it takes two people that wants to be together to stay together. So even if you as a woman, you are trying so hard to keep a marriage, if you're not ready to be in that marriage, or he's not ready to be in that marriage, it's really going to be a struggle. So yeah, I feel like, yeah, I agree with that statement. Women will hold the key to stay married. Because without, I know in my society, if a lot of women know they will be fine living their marriage, they will leave. I know in my society they will. So yeah, I just feel like as people, men, women, be very intentional who you choose to do your life with. If this person is the person that aligns with your value, when I mean your value, your core values, where your mission is in life. Because I feel like that's what makes marriage last longer, when the mission, both of you are on the same mission, going on for the same purpose. Because everybody's missions are different. People want different things from life and relationship and marriage. Go with someone that works in the same core values as you. And I agree with the sister, love is the least thing in ranking when it comes to marriage that keeps a marriage together. It takes a whole more than just love to do that. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. Go ahead and share it, but please keep it respectful. Go ahead and share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. With that all said, guys, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting your girl. So go ahead and do those good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.